All right, let's get it. Welcome to the Marsh Buice Podcast. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on where you're going and not what you're doing. Where you're going is so important because if you look at what you're doing and solely focus on what you're doing, you're going to get all crapped out. And so I'm gonna show you how to be consistent every day. See, you look at the big picture, and the big picture, man, can be overwhelming for you, which is why most people quit before they even get started. Because looking at all, you look at all forward and you see how far you've got to go, and you look at all backwards and how far you've slipped. That's why people that's why people quit before they even begin. Because you get lost in these thoughts of I got to get back to the gym. I should start my own business. I need to start my podcast. I need to start a blog. Whatever it is, there are things that you want to do in life and that you've been putting off. But the thing that you got to realize is someday someday never arrives. So when you look at the entirety of your life and your past and your future and what you're looking at and you're looking back at seems so daunting, so unobtainable. Why you remain stagnant. This is why you stay exactly the same. But here's the thing, man, and this is the fallacy to maintaining. This is why people, they get stuck and they say, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. If everything is changing, and we know this, everything changes. Why do you believe that you're going to maintain? There is no such thing as maintaining. You're either moving the needle and getting better, or you're progressively getting worse. Because see, you're with the technological advances, things that are happening out there in the world, things are changing. You're not. Your skills are eroding. Your emotional IQ, EQ, whatever you want to call it, is eroding. And your purpose, the way that you feel about yourself, is only getting worse as well. Everything's depreciating. Your emotional health, your physical and mental strength are just, dude, they're just floating away. And so today, what I want to do is I want to help you break this cycle. And this is what I call a 5-stage plan. It's so much, things are simple. Things aren't easy, but they're simple. And so this 5-stage plan, if you are trying to get out of this rut and you're trying to accomplish, get back going again, whatever it is that whether it's your health and you're trying to work out, whether it's your creatives, whether you're trying to get your sales back turned around, whether it's a new job that you want to pursue, school, whatever the case may be, I'm going to give you this 5-stage plan and then also show you what my day looks like in 6 checkpoints. And that way you can start building this consistency. So stage 1 is to initiate blindly. Just don't even give any narrative to it. Don't even think about it. What I want you to do is I want you to start your journey without obsessing over all of your past failures or all your future challenges. This is how far I got to go. Oh my God, look how far. Look how far I've slipped. Don't even give a narrative to that. Just your first step, your own stage 1 is just initiate blindly. It's kind of like, when you go to New Orleans and you get you ride one of those carriage rides and the horse, their eyes are covered so they can't see what's going on. That's what you have to do on stage 1 is you just have to blindly look at everything or blindly not look at anything and just power out. Stage 2 is, this is my mantra, man, lay the brick. Laying the brick means that every single day, see right up there, that's a brick. And that is my mantra that I say every single day, lay the brick. That means I don't have to worry about the whole wall today. I just have to lay this one brick. Lay this one brick as perfectly as you can possible. by winning the decision, whatever that decision, that the immediate decision that's right in front of you, win that one decision, then lay the next brick. That's your only job today. Just lay the brick. And so when you get frustrated, when you seem overwhelmed, when it feels like the wall is going to topple back on top of you, or you feel like that the wall is too high to build, just lay the brick. Lay the brick. So this is showing up every single day, making the right decisions, and do not create a deficit. This is super important too. You don't want to create a deficit, meaning that you make some poor choices, and so the next day you're starting in deficit because you made terrible choices the day before. You smashed a case of beer. You killed the buffet at Golden Corral. Win the decision. The decision is, I'm at Golden Corral. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to find the foods that work best for me. I'm not going to double up tomorrow because, see, you'll keep changing the narrative. You'll keep changing things. If you keep doing that, you're going to forever get worse. You have to draw the line in the sand. The first 2 weeks are probably the hardest. And then after that, it just becomes that rhythm. All we're trying to do right now is just win one decision at a time. Don't worry about all. Just focus on next. Stage 3, embrace the change. This is where things are going to start changing for you. Because you've shown up, you don't put any narrative to it. And because you're just laying the brick and you're building that consistency, because you're maintaining the commitments, what changes? The way that you feel about yourself. Because you're keeping commitments. Finally, you're keeping commitments to yourself. Your loved ones see that you're keeping commitments to yourself. And so your perception of yourself improves. It's an inside-out game. You don't get validated by other people. It's an inside-out. Because you're laying the brick, because you're consistent, because you're keeping commitments, that outward energy becomes attractive. People are like, oh, he's not FOS anymore. You're not full of shit. You're holding those commitments. And this is what's going to build this momentum for you. And this is what begins to change the narrative for you as well. Stage 4, this is where you're going to chase the effort. I love this stage right here. So at first, you were just doing. Now that you've embraced the change and your narrative is starting to change, dude, this is that piss and vinegar stage. This is where you start chasing the effort. And chasing the effort is where every day, man, you strive to outdo the performance from the previous day. And so what you're doing is, it's like, oh yeah, I had a good one yesterday. You showed up even on the days that you didn't feel like doing, and you still got it done. See, on those days, those are more important than the days you really feel like going. Because the days you feel like going, well, you feel like going. But what about the days you don't feel like going? The days you don't feel like going are so much more important because you still do it and you get it done. Even if here's the thing I always stress. Even if you have to adjust the pace, don't quit the race. So the day I don't feel like going, I'm going to double up tomorrow. No, you show up anyway. Your pace may be slower. It may take you longer. You're really kind of dialing it in. You're going through the motions, but you got it done. Done is better than said. Stage 5, this is where you created a lifestyle. I don't like goals. If you're setting a goal, then what happens when you achieve the goal? Not that you shouldn't set a goal, but the goal is not the goal is the power. Okay. This is the thing that is the fuel. Okay. Your lifestyle is the destination. They need one another. So it's not like you just blindly, no, you have the goals. That gives you some direction. Okay, that gives you the fuel. I know where I'm heading. These are points on the map, but they're not the end all be all. That is not the goal is not the destination. The lifestyle is, because here's the thing. A lifestyle is forever. You're constantly tweaking it. You're constantly raising the bar. You're constantly evolving. And as you do that, you create the style of the life that you want to have. All right, so let me tell you what my 6 daily habits. I have what I call 6 checkpoints. This is how I maintain my consistency. And so these 6 checkpoints are what I go through every single day. Number 1, wake up at a set time every day. Whatever works in your schedule. Stop changing all the time. One day you're waking up at 9, another day you're waking up at 3, another day you're waking up at 5. Set time that you can commit to every single day. Even if it's a range, if you say 4 to 4:30, no snooze, but I'm going to get up at 4 to 4:30. If it's 5 to 5:30, if it's 6 to 6:30, whatever segment that you put aside, but you've got to put in enough time to take care of these other things for you as well. Okay, that I'm going to go through here in just a second. So you got to build in enough margin on that. Okay, so wake up at a set time. Number 2, write 1 page daily. It's so important that you write and not type because you're going to self-censor. But if you write 1 page every single day, you're going to empty your mind. It's important that you play empty-minded, not absent-minded. Absent-minded means you're playing with a full mind. Empty-minded means you're pouring all of whatever's on your mind. Doesn't matter what it is. This, what I'm talking to you today, is what I wrote about today. Fresh off the cuff, straight off the banana boat. Here you go. Write 1 page every day. This will empty out your thoughts. It'll make you more perceptive and open to what's going on out there in the world. And many times, dude, let me tell you what's true. If you're going to write about something and then you're going to get out there in today, what's today? Thursday. You're going to get out there in today, and then all of a sudden you're going to pick up something and you're like, holy cow, I just wrote about that. So write 1 page every day. I'm telling you, it's going to change your world. Writing saved my life. And it's not writing because I had a podcast episode to do. Writing actually helped me clarify my thoughts, unspool my thoughts. It helps me think quicker. It helps me think clearer and speak better as well. So there's so many intangible benefits that people don't even realize what writing is all about, because they think of writing, they think it's something out of a book. You don't have to write a book. You may write a book one day. You know what? You probably should. If at the very least you make a book, you create a book, so your kids have something and your grandkids have something to realize, oh, okay, I didn't know who he really was. There are things about my dad that I never knew. And it's only as I've gotten older that I've been able to ask him questions. But what if he wasn't here today and I wasn't able to ask those questions? Had he written a book, I could have looked in those things. And so that's a whole nother tangent. But anyway, I haven't written a book yet either, so I'm not going to sit there and go on that. The third thing that I maintain my consistency every day. So number 1, wake up at a set time every day. Write 1 page every day. I do it before I go to the gym. It didn't work well for me when I worked out and came back, because a lot of times I was tired. Do whatever works for you. Number 3, exercise. You got to go work out, man. You got to. I'm not a big advocate of working out at home because it's too easy for me to go in and start watching TV in between sets, and then I get lost. So I like to go places where I'm away from the house, and that way, okay, I'm here, let me get it done. So exercise. I do 80 to 90 minutes a day. Hour and 20 minutes is really what I set my time aside. 10 minutes on the jump rope. Then I go work out, and I finish with a 10-minute run on the treadmill. Sometimes I go outside. Some of you have seen me on that. I do challenge you to do this first thing in the morning. If you work out first thing in the morning, that is a guaranteed win for you. Working out in the evening at the end of the day should be more so of a bonus. Again, do what works for you, but I'm just telling you, man, if it's a way of putting yourself first. When you put yourself first, everybody gets the best representation of you. Number 4, spend 10 minutes reading from, I don't read a book cover to cover. I don't think that you have to read a book cover to cover. So here's what I'll do is I'll pick a random book off the shelf and I'll just grab it. I'll open up the table of contents. I find a chapter that seems most interesting for the season that I'm in that morning, and I read that one chapter, or set your timer for 10 minutes and read. There's too many books out there. Number one, that you got to get bogged down in one book. And number two, this is what keeps things spicy, and I don't get all bogged down in it. I pick another book. So this is like phenomenal, dude, because you can pick any book and read this, because most of the books that you read, even if you read them cover to cover, you're gonna remember like 10% of it. You ain't gonna remember much at all. So you might as well just pick a chapter, and you'll remember that one chapter, and then go to apply it to your life today. Also, so that's your 10-minute reading. If it's 5 minutes, it works for you, whatever. But reading out of a physical book is important, because what it's going to do is it's going to increase your focus and really kind of slow down some of that ADD, that erratic. I know some of you right now are probably looking online as you're listening to me. My point, exactly. So that is that. And then when you're at the gym and you're working out, habit stack. Listen to a book summary, listen to an audio book, and I do that with audiobooks. I'll pick one chapter out of an audiobook and go to another one. I have Audible, so I have hundreds of audiobooks in there. I'll just read one chapter or listen to one chapter. So habit stack, while you're working out, you're learning from a podcast, whatever. I don't really, unless you have the YouTube Premium where you can turn off the screen and still listen to the content. But if you have the screen on, then you're going to get sucked in by that screen, and then all the other suggestions on the side, and you're probably not going to get around to it. Number 4, way I stay consistent and purposeful. Share something. Let me tell you something. Everybody is an expert at something. Everybody is an expert at something. Some of you are experts in health and fitness. Some of you are experts at making 10-minute meals. Some of you are experts at negotiating and sales. Some of you are experts at parenting, whatever. Everybody is an expert. Here's what makes you an expert. It's not looking like that guy right there, okay? It's not so, well, when I make his kind of money, then I'm going to be an expert. No, an expert means, have you brought results in your own life? If the answer is yes, have you seen those results? Then teach it. Because let me tell you something. You may not be where you want to be, but you're further along than the guy behind you, and that guy needs to hear from you. So teach it. Number 6, plan your meals, and then plan what you're going to wear. Number 1, planning your meals. This will keep the fatness away. Know what you're going to eat. That way you're not emotionally subjecting yourself to eating bad, a bunch of snacks, all that crap. The other thing, plan what you're going to wear that day. I lay this out the night before. I know what I'm wearing to the gym. So as soon as I jump off this, I'm going to the gym. But also, I plan what I'm going to wear that day as well. It seems like it's 45 seconds. Oh, I pretty much know what I'm going to wear. It's all about creating the discipline and the efficiencies. I make my coffee the night before. That way the timer comes on. So that way when I roll out of the bedroom, I'm putting on my clothes, I'm weighing in, I'm getting the coffee. It's already made. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. It doesn't seem like that you're saving a lot of time, but over time, it's massive, man, because you're going to start creating that discipline in other areas as well. So that's the 6th thing. The thing that you got to remember is you got to focus on the direction where you're heading and not necessarily what you're doing. What you're doing right now, especially when you're first starting, dude, that can crap you out. So just focus on where you're heading. Just ask yourself, am I heading in the right direction? Is it fully aligned with the lifestyle that I want to create? And if the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, then make the slight adjustments and keep moving forward. If you want more details on how to maintain your consistency, go to my website, marshbuice.com. That's my name, MarshBuice. Also, be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel and also the Marsh Buice Podcast, which thankfully is top 3% podcast in the world. That's just doing, man. I started in 2017. I was at the bottom rung in the on the ladder. I started my podcast in a closet with a cell phone, dude. And now it's the top 3% podcast in the world. I get people from all over the world that send me messages. I'm like, how from Lake Charles, Louisiana, little 80,000 people here in town, and I got people from other cultures and countries saying, man, I appreciate this episode. And it was an episode, dude, I did 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, I have to go listen to that one. I don't even remember what it is. That's the power, man. That's the power that you possess as well. You're just putting stuff out there, because the content that I create, yes, I want it to help others, but it's more so to help myself. This, what I'm doing right here, is therapy for me. This right here is how I strengthen my consistency, because I'm telling you how I've done it. You can go to my Instagram wall and see my before and after pictures in only 90 days. But it was about that consistency. And I developed these 6 steps, and now I teach that. That's what I teach. Mental Toughness Daily, your MTDs, and how you do that. So if you want more on that, go to marshbuice.com. Love to have you on the podcast, or I'd love for you to tune into the podcast and also check out the YouTube channel. Also, if you got value out of this, share it with someone else. If anything, tell them what section to go to, what minute. Okay, 5 minutes in, he talked about this. This especially is relevant for you as well. So if you have any comments, drop them below. Any questions, you can hit me up on all the socials. Be glad to help you out. Remember, keep it simple, keep it moving, never settle. Stay amazing. Stay tough.